All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Free. I'm Ryan. I'm the pastor and executive director here, and this is Carrie. She is the associate executive director here. So good to be with all of you tonight, and those of you joining us online, we're glad you're here, glad you're part of this community, and I have some really important news for you online people in just a moment. But let me give you all the reminder. Oh, first I should tell you, it looks different up here, doesn't it? Yeah, this is our All Saints Day. I don't know, we call it a remembrance service. We're going to remember and name and show the faces of those we've lost in this community, the ones we've loved and lost, the ones that have died from this brutal disease of addiction. So we're going to do that tonight, hence all the candles. But before we do that, I should remind you that this is a community for addicts, loved ones of addicts, and spiritual refugees. And what we do here is break the silence of addiction while creating space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. And there is always one thing we don't do in this community. You can shout it out on a count of three. If you're at home in your living room or wherever you are, shout it out, make it awkward. 1, 2, 3. We don't do shame. Yes. Carrie, tell us some things coming up, though.
Yes. Ooh, that's loud. Sorry, friends. If you are new with us tonight, welcome. If this is your first time, we would love to get to know you. Just outside of these doors, you can find our welcome bags. Both Kai and Frank can wave their hands, and they're going to be like, hi. They'll get you a welcome bag after. Inside, they have some fresh roasted wagon coffee as well as some free swag and our Connect card. The Connect card is how you get signed up to our newsletter and find out all of the information and events that we have throughout the week and the month, including we have a couple this week. So if you were on the newsletter, you would know this. But this coming Monday, Ryan and Claire, Reverend Claire... Right? She is Reverend?
She's Reverend,
Okay, it's not on the title. Yours has.
You know,
no, it doesn't have it.
Mine doesn't have it.
I can't see without my
Sorry,
glasses.
Claire, we screwed
Sorry,
up titles.
Claire. But Claire gave the message a couple months back, and she interviewed her son, Will, and it was an amazing. And so she's going to be joining Ryan, and they're going to be leading this on Mondays in the cafe. The first one is on Monday, and you guys are going to be covering the introduction and chapters 1 and 2. If you guys do not have the book yet, that's okay. You can still come. And then you don't have to come to every single one. You can hop in, hop out, come, like, whatever you need to do.
Like I said last service, if the first one sucks, you don't have to come back. But it's not gonna. It's gonna be fun.
I don't know that it's going to suck.
That's
but
what I said. It's not gonna, but if you think it does, you know.
It'll be really good. And I would even say if you don't come to the first one, you can still come to the second one.
That is true. Totally true.
You're not going to miss anything. It's just a great way. And Ryan said last service, too, that even if you guys don't come to the book study, it's an amazing book. I highly encourage you guys to check it out.
It's a good one.
Next up, still this week on Friday, we are having our problem gambling and sports betting panel. I don't know if you guys remember, we had the lived experience one maybe a month or two ago now. And then this one is actually going to be professionals in the field who are going to provide some education and some resources. It's a free event. They do say that this is not considered a marketing event. So this is more for a lunch and learn. Come get educated. Come learn about the resources in their fields. It's, again, free to attend. They do ask that you register simply because they are ordering food. So part of that is lunch. But it's from 12 until 1:30 here in the cafe, and then they'll also do the panel discussion in this big room.
Yep.
Next up, this is not next week, so this is in a few weeks, but this is our last one for the year, our Sober Open Mic. This is a fantastic event. We partner with the Phoenix, and it's sponsored by Colorado Artists in Recovery as well as the Hornbuckle Foundation. This is a free event. We also ask that you register. That's mainly because that's how they get their funding. The Phoenix gets their funding, but it's they also have the slots open to perform. So if you guys have a talent, if you want to sing or do poetry or juggle or I don't even know, dance, whatever. We actually haven't had any dancers or jugglers. So if anyone's
There's still room, Carrie. You can sign up.
You don't want to see me dance, trust me. Anyhow, this will also be in our newsletter to get the link to both sign up to perform or to come. And it's the last one of the year.
Yeah.
And that's all I got
great
for you.
event. Okay, thank you, Carrie. Okay, for this pertains to you here, but I'm talking mainly to online people. We've got some change coming down the pipeline, and so it's kind of a simple change. But I know how we are with change. We get freaked out by it. Starting December 6th, the first Saturday in December, we are no longer going to stream the 7 o'clock service. We're going to live stream the 5 o'clock service. We have heard our East Coast people. So we're standing with you on this one. We heard from Florida people, Carolina people, everyone out east. They say, man, 7 o'clock. Yeah, mountain time, 7 o'clock, but that's 9 o'clock out here. So we're going to start live streaming the 5 p.m. service rather than the 7 p.m. service to accommodate some of you. And it's, I don't know, it's just a change. A lot of people have mentioned, and we said, you know what, we can do that. That's not a big deal. We can do that. But this service will not be live streamed. It will be only the 5 o'clock service. Both services are still in person, so like I said, it doesn't affect you all here. We'll still do our thing, but not live streamed at 7 o'clock. So hope y'all dig that. All right, y'all, the way we get started here on a Saturday night is with celebrations. We start with the good. We lift up the good. We take 3 minutes for this. Maybe you are celebrating a sobriety anniversary or a birthday or whatever the new thing in your life or recovery is. New jobs, new homes, new whatever it is. We celebrate it all. If you're online, drop your celebration in the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments, whichever platform you're joining us from. And for those of you in-house, you just got to raise up your hand, and Darren will get you a mic on this side. Kiera will get you a mic on this side. And let's take 3 minutes for the good news. This time is yours.
Today's my 73rd birthday.
Happy birthday. Congratulations.
Thank you. I was born on All Saints' Day, so growing up Catholic, I always thought it was great because they gave me the school day off. But anyway, and then the day after Halloween, so candy and then birthday presents. So
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and the kids were out of school today, too.
I'm Kaylin, I'm an addict, and today I have 1,418 days free of meth and fentanyl.
All right, Kaylin, keep on going. Come on, Kai.
I'm Kai, and I'm celebrating 960 days free of fentanyl.
960, way to go, Kai.
I'm also Kai, and I'm celebrating my 60 days today.
60 days, Kai, so way to go, dude. Glad you're here.
I'm Roxanne. In October 29th, which was a Wednesday, I believe, I celebrated 25 years of sobriety.
All right, happy 25. Anyone else? The celebrations just died. Here we go, right here in the second row, Darren.
My name's Rochelle. I'm an alcoholic and an addict, and I am celebrating being 37 days sober today.
Happy 37 days. Glad you're here. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Daniel, and I'm here with Palmer Lake Recovery with a few others. And today is my 39th day of being sober.
Happy 39 days, brother. Glad you're here, Daniel.
I'm Braden, and I'm also with PLR, and I just want to say hi. It's my first time at Free Recovery, and I look forward to this.
All right, welcome, man. Glad you're here. We'll celebrate that. Welcome. 10 seconds if anyone wants to take us out. All the way in the back.
My name's Aaron. I'm also from PLR. Today is my 38th day sober from alcohol. Second time attending free, and I love it. You'll see me here often. So.
All right, man. We're glad you're here. Happy 38. We had 37, 38, and 39 days. How rad is that? Darren or Kira, which one of you want to join me up here? Darren, come on, dude. Join me up here. Clear back here. Kira, come on. Join me up here. Don't make me feel alone.
You're not alone, right?
I'm never alone. All right. You want to join with our online people?
Sure,
All
absolutely.
right. You want to read the first one?
Of course.
You get the first one. All right.
Jason Maybe, congratulations to my friend and a member of our community, Shimmy. Over a year ago, he started a nonprofit, Holy Hub, a space for holistic recovery. Next weekend, Sunday, the brick and mortar launches, holyhub.org. So happy and proud to call him my friend. Also, there's an HH meeting at Free Recovery Community on Tuesday evenings.
Yeah, we'll celebrate that, Jason. Good for Shimmy. Pamela says, I started a new job at the middle school, special ed para. Love it. Never thought I'd like 13-year-olds, but they get my jokes. We will celebrate that, Pamela. That's good stuff.
April Gilbert, celebrating a month and a half sober.
All right, way to go, April. Keep on going. Okay, thank you for joining me, Kira.
Thank you.
We'll see more of you later. Yes. All right, y'all. Before we get into candle lighting, we're calling this one Remembering the Saints We Loved, Becoming the Saints We Need. Well, when Tammy, my wife, and I, when we started Free back in 2018 in our backyard, one of the first things we did was we started to build a launch team. Nick was 20 years old. He was an addict in recovery. In fact, I knew Nick from the rooms of recovery. Nick and I were walking through the 12 steps together. In fact, I was his sponsor. Nick was one of those guys, man, he was always had a huge smile. He was an easy guy to like. He was one of those guys you wanted to be around him. And that Thursday morning, we met in my office. We were doing some 12-step work together. And then at the end of our time together, I said to Nick, I said, dude, we're building this thing called Free, and I explained it to him. And I said, we're putting together a launch team, and Nick, I would love for you to be on this launch team. In fact, we need you on this launch team. And Nick, he just got a huge smile, and he threw his head back, and he said, oh, man, the fact that a priest would invite me to be part of this. And I said, Nick, dude, I'm not a priest. That's Catholic. I'm Protestant, so I'm a pastor. And Nick didn't hear a word I said. He just kept his head back, and he said, yeah, I know. But, man, just the fact that a priest would invite me to be part of this. And I said, Nick, dude, I'm not a priest. I'm a pastor. And I don't know if he heard me or not. But he was so excited to be part of this team. And that morning, we shared one more cup of coffee together. And as he was getting ready to leave, I asked Nick, I said, what's your plan for the rest of the day? And he, again, got a huge smile, and he said, man, my brother and sister are home. It's summer break, and I get to go spend time with my brother and sister. And then he said, later this afternoon, I'm going to clean out my mom's closet because it's an absolute mess. And he said that with a big smile, too. And then he left. And that following Monday morning, I received a phone call from Nick's mom, Julie, and her heart was breaking in a million pieces, and my heart was breaking with hers, and Nick relapsed, and he didn't wake up that morning. Nick died of a heroin overdose just days before his 21st birthday. And man, I was like in this state of, I just saw him on Thursday. I just saw him 4 days ago, and he was so excited to be clean and sober. He was so excited to join this team. He was so excited to go hang out with his little brother and sister, and now he's gone. And it was 1 week before we started Free. And I remember thinking to myself, man, this is going to be hard. We're going to, in this community, we're going to lose people. We're going to lose them too soon. We're going to see hearts shatter. Man, this is going to be hard. And it was like God was preparing my heart for this community. And then soon after that, we lost Christian. Man, Christian, he was so kind and so gentle and always so spoken. In fact, on this day, that evening, we were celebrating Christian being 10 days clean and sober. And then soon after, he's gone. And people ask me all the time, people probably ask you this question: isn't it hard to be part of a community where you lose people to addiction on a regular basis? Yeah, it's hard. It will always be hard. It will always be hard when we lose people we love. And I have to remind people, I tell them all the time, for every loss that we experience, we have these stories of new life, stories of celebration, stories that we have to keep, hold on to keep going. Like, do you know, 3 Saturdays ago, after this 7 p.m. service, there was a young lady in the cafe. Her name is Jessica. She was here the last service. She was here for the first time 3 Saturdays ago in the cafe, and our cafe staff, they saw that she was in distress. They invited her to stay, and they offered her a cup of coffee on the house, and she was clinging on to this warm cup of coffee. And some of y'all know, especially in early recovery, coffee is more than just coffee, isn't it? And Chris from the cafe, he came and found me and wanted to introduce me to her. And so we went and found Jessica, and she was sitting in the cafe, and she had tears coming down her face. And she explained to me that she was on her way to go get drugs. But instead she came here. But she said she was still battling in her mind. Should she go and get the drugs or not? And the only thing I said to her is I said, I hope you stay. And there's a meeting here in the big room in just a little bit. I hope you stay, and I hope you make yourself at home. And I didn't know if we'd see her again or not. And then 2 Saturdays ago come along, and Jessica was in the service. And after the service, she came up to me. She had a huge smile, and she says, guess what? I stayed. And then last Saturday happened, and she was in the service, and I see her after the service. She brought her 2 little kids with her, and they were both holding cups of hot chocolate from the cafe. And she says, guess what? Not only did I stay, but I'm still here, clean and sober. And then tonight happens, and at the 5 o'clock service, she was here, and she let me know she was 53 days clean and sober. And y'all know what a celebration that is. And here's the deal. There are some in the outside world that will never understand that simple celebration, and it's okay. We get it here, don't we? And do you know, soon after Nick's passing, some of his friends, they asked me about Nick's standing with God. And they asked me questions about, would God need to punish Nick in the afterlife, of course? Would God need to punish Nick for some of his poor choices in life? Punishment. Is that who God is? And punishment. Didn't the drugs, the booze, the addiction, didn't they do a fine enough job? Punishment? It's almost like they didn't know Nick was a saint. And some of y'all might be sitting here right now. Some of y'all are watching online. You're saying, wait a minute, Pastor. Come on now, you're taking it too far this time. Now, he died in his addiction. That doesn't make him a saint. Now, some of you will say, I know my own story. I'm an addict or alcoholic in recovery or a loved one in recovery, and I'm no saint. Well, let's talk for a moment about who you are. Do you know in my work and interaction with addicts and alcoholics and loved ones of addicts and alcoholics, our biggest problem is, that I've discovered, our biggest problem is we do not know who we are. An act of addiction, the true self, the authentic self, just kept getting covered up. We do not know who we are. And in recovery, what are we doing? Well, it's very simple. We are learning who we are again. But some of you know this. Shame and feelings or a sense of not belonging, it can still linger, can it, even in recovery? Do you know when I was just 2 months into my sobriety, well, I was invited out to a conference in California. I was invited and told I was needed there. So I get on the plane and land early that morning, land at LAX. I take an Uber from LAX to my hotel. Now it's afternoon, and the conference was starting that afternoon. And the problem was, man, I got to my hotel room, and all of a sudden, I was overcome with this fear and anxiety. The kind of fear and anxiety where my hands are sweating, my heart is racing really fast, and it felt like the walls were closing in. And I couldn't identify it. I didn't know exactly where it was coming from. So I pick up the phone and I called my temporary sponsor, Chuck. And I said, Chuck, man, you know I'm at this conference and I'm supposed to be there in a few minutes, and it's just a few blocks down the street. But Chuck, I can't leave my hotel room. I have so much fear and anxiety and I just can't leave. And do you know what Chuck didn't do? Chuck didn't do shame. He didn't do judgment. He didn't tell me how stupid I was, or how, Ryan, you just got to get your shit together and move on. No, none of that. He just started asking me some very simple questions. He said, Ryan, let me ask you, did you, when you woke up this morning, did you take a moment and invite God in? And I'm thinking to myself, Chuck, that's a dumb question, man. You know I had to get up early, and I had to leave to the airport, and then I had to get on an airplane, and now here I am. And he said, are you able, when we hang up, are you able to take a moment and invite God in? And I said, yeah, Chuck, I can do that. And then he says, after you do that, I suggest you exit your hotel room, you push the down button on the elevator, you step into the elevator, and when it gets to the lobby floor, you exit the elevator, exit through the lobby, and you walk outside and you turn right and you walk a few blocks. And he said, Ryan, as you walk there, I want you to remember who you are. Well, Chuck, that's the problem, dude. I don't know who I am. And do you know what he said? He says, Ryan, have you forgotten? You are sober. You are actually working your recovery. You were invited to this conference. In fact, you were told you were needed at this conference. He says, when you walk there, remember who you are. And I suggest when you walk in, you keep your head held high and you walk in as if you totally belong. You see, remembering who we are, it's our story, isn't it? I mean, this is our story, and let me just try to capture the story, and tell me if I get it wrong. Tell me if I get this wrong. You were once dead in your addiction, and this is true for loved ones too. Dead in your addiction with barely any life in you, if you had any at all. And you let everyone around you tell you who you were because you totally lost yourself along the way. But God did something new in you, and because of God's grace and mercy, you are now something else. And it's not like you did anything great to get there. It's not like you did it on your own. Is it true? Something was done for you. How many of you came in on a winning streak? How many of you came in with life put together? Something was done for you. You're now something else. I love how the Apostle Paul puts it in this New Testament letter called Ephesians. You can find it in the New Testament. You could probably read it in about 20 or 30 minutes. 2,000 years ago, Paul wrote a letter to his friends in the ancient city called Ephesus. And man, they were battling. They didn't know who they were. And for the first 3 chapters of this letter, he just keeps telling them who they are and what's been done for them. Here's how he says it. Check it out. Ephesians chapter 2, just a few verses from it. But because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive. Yeah. For it is by grace you have been saved. Did any of you save yourself? It is by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It is a gift of God. So then, and hear this part, you are no longer strangers and aliens, but you are fellow citizens with the saints and also members of the household of God. And They didn't do anything great to get that, to earn that. Paul says to them over and over, don't y'all get it? It's not because of anything you've done. It's simply because you are. And this is a gift given. This is who God is. That's who you are, fellow citizens with the saints. You are one of them, which means, my brothers and sisters, you are a saint. In fact, make it a little bit awkward. Turn to the person next to you and tell them, proclaim it out loud, say, I'm a saint. Yeah, you're a saint. Yeah, just own it. For some of you, it's the first time you feel arrogant saying that, don't you? I'm a saint. Yes, you are a saint. And I love how the message, so the message is it's a paraphrase of the Bible, another translation. There's many, many translations of the Bible. This is a paraphrase of it. Here's how it says it in the message, the same scripture. Ephesians chapter 2. You who were once out of it altogether, active addiction, are in on everything. Which means you're total insiders now. Total insiders. That's plain enough, isn't it? You are no longer wandering exiles. This kingdom of faith is now your home country. You are no longer strangers or outsiders. You belong here. Which means not only are you a saint, but apparently you totally belong. Why? Because that's who you are. Simply because you are. Which also means who you aren't has to become totally uninteresting to you. Don't get stuck in the voice that tells you who you aren't. And it'll happen all the time, so we have to remind ourselves, you are not your past. You are not the things you've done. You're not the things that were done to you, maybe even when you were a little boy or a little girl. You're not even the words that were spoken to you, the words that were meant to tear you down, the words that were meant to keep you small, or the words that were meant to keep you from who you are. You're none of those things. Who are you? Now, here's the deal. Can saints forget who they are? Yeah, it happens. Man, there I was, sitting in that hotel room with walls closing in, and I had to have a very simple reminder in very simple terms from someone on the other line of the phone reminding me who I am. Can saints forget who they are? Yeah, it happens, and sometimes the consequences are deadly. And tonight, on this All Saints' Day, we will remember those saints who have passed from this brutal disease of addiction. And I am aware that there are some outsiders. There are some in the outside world that will say things like, nah, it's just another junkie off the streets. Or another alcoholic who got what they had coming to them. And yet here we know it's not true, is it? We know it's not true. We know that they are our loved ones. We loved these people. Each one of them had a name. Each one of them had a story. Each one of them had friends and family who knew them, who knew their heart, who saw how beautiful they were. They had friends and family who knew them and loved them and grieved their passing. And we also know the truth that each one of them was loved by God no matter what, always loved by God, and they totally belonged. No, they were not perfect. But we learned a long time ago, striving for perfection never got us too far anyway, did it? I think it's safe to say that the saints who have passed, those in our community who have passed, they would want us to keep going, want us to continue to remember who we are. I think it's safe to say they would urge us not to buy into the lie of shame. The kind of shame that tries to convince you that you're not worthy of belonging, the kind of shame that tries to convince you that isolation is your best option. I think they would urge us to remember that we are community, bound together through struggle and bound together through hope. I think they would urge us to remember that we must continue walking each other home. And do you know, I have been accused of focusing too much on God's unconditional love and grace. The accusation usually goes something like this. Pastor, you know what your problem is? Your problem is you tell your people all about God's love and grace, but you do not tell them about God's condemnation and judgment. And they need to hear that so that they'll change their behavior. Yeah, let me just ask y'all. Well, first, is that who God is? No. And second, even if it was, would it work? Would it work? I mean, especially for those of you battling to get clean and sober, would it work? Or Shua, who was up here, our guest storyteller last week, told us his stories of relapse. Would it work if I just told Shua how stupid he is? And man, why can't you stop? Why can't you get your life together? Don't you know God is against you? Don't you know the people you are hurting? Would it work, or would it just lead to more death? And besides, we tried all those methods, didn't we? We tried all the self-hatred. Every time we looked into the mirror in active addiction, we hated what was staring back at us. You see, there's a very practical piece to us shouting out every Saturday night that we don't do shame. Why? Because shame doesn't work. Shame will never lead you towards healing or right behavior, because only love can do that. Do you know who you are? Once out of it altogether in active addiction. You were once wandering exiles, but today you are saints who totally belong. And do you know our 12-year-old daughter, Shiloh, she's reminding us of this truth right now. Because she's at that stage in life where she is learning the art, and it is an art, learning the art of how to text your friends in a friend group when there's conflict. 12 years old, she's learning how. So we have this kind of standing rule in our household that if she's in a conflict and she's writing a text, she has to show me or my wife Tammy, she has to show us the text message before she hits the send button. Because sometimes it's not that her text, her response is untrue, but sometimes my Shiloh girl, she could be just a little bit too spicy, if you know what I mean. Like, I can read some of her text, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't say it out loud, but I'm like, baby, this text message, this one is not going to get you to where you want to go. Like, this is not going to produce the outcome you were hoping for. Now, I could say to her, why would you do this? Don't you see how stupid this is? Why are you behaving this way? This is never going to work. And I know Shiloh, I know how she is. If I did that, she'd dig her heels in even more and she'd hit send right away. Talk about a change of behavior. Usually we can do it with one question. I can read the text, you know, the really spicy ones, and I can read it, and I can say, baby, is this who you are? I mean, seriously, is this who you are? Because the Shiloh I know, man, she's kind. Man, she's got a huge heart. She's got a really sensitive heart. It breaks easily. It cracks easily. The Shiloh I know, she loves her friends. Loves her friends with the deepest kind of loyalty. When I say that, remind her who she is. Sometimes she'll grab the phone and she'll start to hit delete. And then she'll recraft a text message that is in alignment with who she is. Because see, remembering who you are, that will always be the thing that changes you. Remembering and knowing who you are, and who are you? You're a saint. You totally belong. You have encountered the God who saved you, the God who led you home. And I'll close with this, because I do want to remind you, just because you're a saint, and just because you belong, just because you are living a life in recovery, well, it doesn't mean you're going to have a pain-free life. And I know some of y'all know this. It doesn't mean it's going to be pain-free. Now, let's just get honest with it. The truth is, your heart's going to break, even in good recovery. Your heart's going to break. You will experience real pain. At some point, you will be walking through what feels like the very darkest valley. So I need to remind you, not just who you are, but also who always goes with you. If you were to take a Bible and open it right to the middle, you would likely end up in the Psalms, one of the 150 Psalms. The Psalms are just an ancient collection of poems and prayers, and they include brutal honesty, like hearts crying out. And then you have the 23rd Psalm. What's so interesting about the 23rd Psalm is it's pretty well known in our culture. It's well known culturally. In fact, culturally, the 23rd Psalm, Psalm 23, it's used in funerals, which is always interesting because the 23rd Psalm is all about how to do life even when life is at its hardest. It's always about who you're doing life with in the darkness, even when it's the hardest. So I want to invite you to just take a moment and close your eyes. And I want to read with you just the first 4 verses of the 23rd Psalm. And let these words, let this prayer hover over you. It goes like this. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He lets me rest in grassy meadows. He leads me beside quiet waters. He keeps me alive. He guides me along the right paths for the sake of his good name. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no danger because you are with me. You see, my brothers and sisters, when you find yourself in that darkest valley, know that you're not alone. Rely on the God who lets you rest, the one who leads you to the quiet. Rely on the God who keeps you alive, the one who guides you. Rely on the God who goes with you in and through the darkest valley. And you, my brothers and sisters, may you remember who you are. And may you remember who always goes with you. So I would invite you to continue in a time of reflection as we hear this song together. This song is called Valley of Death. Well, if it's your first time with us or your first time joining us online, usually in this living room we have a guest storyteller with us to share some of their experience, strength, and hope with us. But tonight, on this All Saints Day, we're going to say the names, and show the faces of those that we have lost in this community to the disease of addiction. From the time we had to put some limits on it because we couldn't do like 100 photos, so we had to put some limits on it. Those lost to addiction, and since the time of 2018, which is when we started Free. And as we do that, we'll light a candle. Kiera will sound the sound bowls. And I invite you to a moment of silence. This moment will last about 10 minutes as we remember together. Alan and Kevin Kraus. Alex Nassif. Kathy Masters. Colin Hatfield. Curtis Brown. Desi Rose Murphy and David Patrick Murphy. Dom Carmody. Dylan Ford. Jax Grattan. J.D. Pulliam. Jessica Knight. Johnny Jerish. Jordan Harris. Christian Gutierrez. Kyle Matthew Smith. Leo Wilder Irvin. Nick Anderson. Richard Curtis Canacey. Sean Fox. Tawny Renee Allison. Teresa Parker. Tracy Satterwhite. Those are some of the saints in our midst who have passed in this community, and I also realize there are some that have passed that we may not know about. I also realize that some of you have loved ones friends who have died of this disease of addiction that was maybe before the year of 2018, and you would like to remember them. You would like to even say their name. So if you have anyone you want to remember on this All Saints Day, while we have tea lights up here and lighters, and during this song that we're about to hear, I would encourage you, if you'd like, to come and light a tea light and even say their name, say a prayer if you'd like. For those of you online, feel free to, wherever you are, grab a candle, light it, say the name out loud, put a name and face to it. This time is yours. you keep telling the stories. Remember them. Remember their lives, their hearts. Say their names, tell the stories. Last service, my daughter, my brother died of this disease of addiction back in 2001. And we talk about him often in our family. We tell the stories. My little boy Bricks, sometimes he's 6 years old, sometimes he'll say to me, Poppy, I wish I knew Uncle Brandon. And my daughter was here and she said, Poppy, you didn't mention Brandon. And so we got to come up together and light a candle for my brother. I hope it was meaningful for you. I hope it was meaningful for you at home. I hope you were able to light a candle. All right, y'all. Well, the way we close things down here on a Saturday night is similar to how we begin. We begin with what we call celebrations. We close with what we call heartaches. Maybe this week or recently you've been carrying a burden and you've been trying to carry it alone and you've figured out you don't have to carry it alone. You suck at carrying it alone. It's why you have community. It's why we have a God who hears the cries of the people. So we take 3 minutes for this. If you need some prayer, some encouragement, some lifting upness, well, that's what this time is for. Darren will have a mic on this side. And Kai, would you be able to pass around a mic on this side? Darren can hand it to you. If you're at home, again, put in your burdens, put them in the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments. We'll join with you there. And if you're in-house, just raise up your hand. 3 minutes, this time is yours.
I'm Kaylin, I'm an addict. I would just like to remember Freddie Emmons. He was gone too soon, and it was one of those things. I talked to him 2 weeks before he passed, and just knew he wasn't going to make it then, so it was really hard.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us.
I'm Matthew, and on Tuesday of this week, my younger brother had lung surgery, and he has about a 6 to 8 week recovery in front of him, so I would ask for prayers for him.
Lifting him up. Thank you for sharing with us, Matthew. Prayers for him.
Sheila, I'd ask for continued prayers for my daughter. This week I had to have the police lock her up for her safety and mine, and I just want her to know God's with her.
Yeah, Sheila, continued prayers for you and for her. Very difficult journey it's been. Glad you're here.
My name is Eddie. A couple weeks ago, my sister was hit by a car. She's still recovering. Asking for prayers for my sister Rihanna.
Prayers for her. Prayers for the family and everyone that impacts.
My name's Rochelle, and I've been having a lot of medical stuff going on, and I'm really, really scared. So if anybody wants to pray for me, that would be good.
Rochelle, praying for you now. This community will be lifting you up. Prayers for you. Glad you're here.
Hi, I'm Cameron. One of my good friend's husband is currently battling necrotizing pancreatitis on life support in the hospital for about 2 weeks now. He's gone through several surgeries due to this terrible disease, so just hoping for some prayers that he makes it out okay.
Prayers for him. Thank you for sharing with us. I want to say before we move on, Kaylin, you mentioned Freddie Yeomans. Was he on the screen tonight? Okay, he was at the 5 o'clock. Tech team, if you can let me know right now the 3 names that I think we had a glitch on the screens, because I noticed at the end there was 3 candles left unlit, and I asked Carrie, I said, how did we miss 3 people? She says, I don't know. At 5 o'clock, they were all lit. Freddie was mentioned at the 5 o'clock service, and I'm so sorry we missed him at this service. Tech team, do you know the other two that we missed? Are you all looking into it? Hannah Scholes and Frederick Freddie Yaumans the fourth, and James Jim Milam. For the friends and family who are watching online, again, my apologies for missing them. They were not missed at the 5 o'clock service. Our apologies for missing them at this service. And I hope you know they're important, they're not forgotten, and it is important to say their names and remember their stories. Well, if you've been impacted by the mission here, Breaking the Silence of Addiction, you should know that we are funded by you, the people. We are funded by the people in this community. It's how we keep the mission moving forward. It's how we keep going. Thank you to the many of you. What's that? Oh, online heartaches. I just got so excited about giving. Kai, you want to join me up here? We'll get back to giving because it is an important moment. But let's join our online heartaches first. You want the first one?
Sure.
You take it, Kai. This is all you.
Beverly Coogan, please pray for my husband who is facing dementia, cancer, and now a broken arm.
Beverly, prayers for your husband and for you. Goodness. Nathan says, I'm very isolated and struggling with mental illness. I've been suicidal. I have no friends. Nathan, I'm glad you're here tonight. Online people, I hope you connect with Nathan. Let him know he's loved. And Nathan, prayers for you, brother. Keep connecting, man. Glad you're here.
Stephen Seelip says, pray for Mark and Karen. May they get their house in order.
Lifting them up. Pamela says, continued prayers for my son. I haven't heard from him for 2 months. I do know that he keeps getting arrested. I pray he finds recovery. Pamela, we join you in that prayer. Prayers for your son to find a better path and find recovery and know that he's loved. Thank you, Kai, for being up here with me. Well, like I was saying, if you've been impacted, we rely on you, the people. Thank you for those of you that have made giving in this community a practice, a spiritual practice in your life, a sacrificial practice even. And I try to remind you all every week, even if you don't give here, find somewhere to give. Find people in need to give to because it does change you. And we are grateful when you do give here, by the way. If you want to give, there's a few different ways to do it. The app, Free Recovery Community, the website, freerecoverycommunity.com, and the giving kiosk. There's one outside these doors for in-house people, for cash and checks if you give that way. Oh, and there's the Kind kiosk just outside these doors. It's the one-tap system if you want to donate that way. Thank you so much for being a part of it. It makes a huge difference here. Shall we go out with a prayer? Yeah, I would encourage y'all just to open up the hands. Yeah, just nothing magical about open hands, just a simple sign of openness. But as we remember the saints who have passed, just take a big, deep breath in. And exhale. And remember that you are still here, still breathing. You, me, we have some work to do, some love and hope to spread. And if you don't know the Lord's Prayer, it'll be on your screen and we'll pray it together. It goes like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Grace and peace to you all, and we will see you next time.